And now, I'd like to introduce to some and present to others a man that I consider a master storyteller, a teacher and instructor, and just an example of the message that he brings. Give a round of applause to Dwight Fleischer, if you please. Come on, energy, energy.
All right. Thank you, Les. Well, I know there are a tremendous amount of stories down on the inside of each and every one of you. If we sat and talked for any length of time over some highlights and some events and things that have taken place in your life, I guarantee you, you would tell me some things that I would go, wow, did that happen? Man, that was really interesting. Tell me more about that. You see what I'm saying? And then I might say something like I always do, is, man, you have a powerful story. You need to tell that story. But when I go to that part of the conversation, many people, I can tell, they freeze up because they can't imagine themselves up revealing personal things about themselves in front of people that they don't even know. So I've been sharing my story for the better part of 20 years. And let me tell you something. Up until the time before I began to write my story, I never even thought about or even dreamed that I would share with people or tell people some of the things that I have revealed to them in my story. I thought what was done in the dark was going to stay in the dark. All right? Never thought that it would be like the old adage that says what's done in the dark is going to come out in the light. Never thought I was going to do this true confession through my books and tapes and things, talking about very, very personal things. And here's something else. Here's a book that Les gave me, and he just handed it to me. He said, here, Dwight, read this book. And it's talking about the story of you and how to create a new one. And that's really interesting because your life has been lived, and that can't be lived over again. But what happens is, as a result of the sum total of the life that we have lived, we have developed a story about ourselves. And that story is impacting and affecting how far and where you're going to go in your life in terms of your success or failure based upon the story that you have in your head. And so what this author projects and promotes in his writing is he's saying that we've got to then begin to relook at some of the stories that are in our heads and examine those stories. And sometimes if we look at that story from a different perspective, we'll see a nuance within that story that we had never seen before. And sometimes that can be a breakthrough and allow you then to realize that the way you may have been looking at some things that have happened to you in life, and some of those things may have been hindering you in where you want to go. As you recreate, as you look at that thing from a different perspective, it can become a blessing rather than a curse. So when we get to the top of the stairs, listen to this now. Here's where it gets tense. She runs into the bathroom, right? Now, I'm going to tell you what she did in there in a minute, but nobody knows. This is all happening like lightning fast. He's holding a military .45 pistol. Now, I don't know if you know about it, but a military .45 will blow a big hole in you quick. So he's holding a military .45 pistol. She runs into the bathroom. He thinks in his mind that I was in cahoots with her about taking his ring. So he levels the gun on me. And I'm going to tell you something. I fell into the wall like this. And he's got this gun probably within 3 feet of my head. And let me tell you something. There's a fear that you can't even imagine. I was experiencing that kind of fear. In my mind, I'm thinking to myself, this is it. This man got blood in his eyes. He's getting ready to shoot me. It's getting ready to be all over. I'm going to die. I was terrified with fear. Let me tell you how scared I was. I was so scared I had to go to the bathroom. I don't tell that to a lot of people, but I just told y'all because I like you. That's scared. When you think you about ready, it's about ready to be over. Boom. And so he levels the gun at me. He says, tell her to come out of the bathroom or I'll blow your blankety blank head off. And I say blankety blank in the book, by the way. Blankety blank head, that ain't what he said. I'm like this. I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. It wasn't funny then, believe me. So I remember I was so scared that I didn't have any bass in my voice. I said, Nisi, come out of the bathroom. That's the best I could do. I mean, I'm talking about scared. Yeah, y'all talking about something else. I'm talking about, Nisi, come out of the bath. I mean, I'm talking Pee Wee Herman high. You know? And finally, whew, she breaks the door to that bathroom and cracks the door and comes out. And then he ended up pistol whipping her, hit me upside the head with the gun, took us downstairs and said he should take us out and shoot us, held us hostage for about another hour, and for some miraculous reason that I talk about in the book why I think he did not kill us, he just said, come on, I'm going to take you guys back. Took us back to Oakland and let us off at the dope house where he picked us up at. What a miracle that was. But I share that story. I said that to say this, is that that's what you can do when you do an audio version of even things that you have written down as you're telling your story. How that one moment became the catalyst for all of the madness that went on for the next 7 years. That's why it's so important for us to realize the importance of a moment and how things can change your destiny in the nick of time. So take us on a journey, but don't just take us on a journey, like I said, mechanically. Take us on a journey, because like Les was saying, we're moving into an area where we've got to be more creative. People are more visual. They want you to describe it to them. People nowadays don't just buy a toaster and just for toasting for toasting bread. People buy toasters more for how they look than for what they do. So now form is trumping function in a lot of areas. So it's not a surprise that your book needs to show some creativity. So then you take us on this journey. And here's what I say about that. As I was sharing my story, and as I share my story when I'm giving it in public or whatever, I'm trying to help those that are listening to see what I see. And I'm using the medium of words and expressions to do that. While I was standing here against the wall sharing that one particular incident, in my mind, and you may have been able to pick up the intensity or even the facial expressions, in my mind, here it was, okay? Now that says that I'm in it. Something's going on up in here. You know what I mean? So keep this in mind. So as I'm sharing my story or any part of it, I go back there. And to the degree that you're able to allow us to see what you see is the degree to which your story is going to make an impact on those that are hearing it.